hypergrowth, triple-digit growth, potentially accelerating over the next few quarters.
It's the kind of explosive upside retail investors are always hoping for.
300 to 400% at the low end, possibly 800% at the high end.
MarketBeat's Thomas Hughes shares a list of 3 companies showing explosive upside potential in the long term.
The revenue is outpacing expectations. The price multiple is only 2x in 2030. That's just, 4 years away.
Still plenty of time to get in on the massive upside ahead for these 3 stocks. Let's dive in. Thomas, so great to have you back on the show, covering 3 different stocks that have explosive upside ahead. A lot of your articles this week have had really great companies, and so I'm excited to get to this list. And let's just dive into that first company right away, because there's so much momentum going on in the 3 names we're about to talk about that I think investors are want to just get right to the names.
Right. The first one is NuScale Power. It's one of our small modular reactor nuclear stocks. Right now, the market's kind of pulling back, and I just attribute that to an excited, exuberant market that kind of run up really fast, and now it's kind of correcting. But this pullback plays into the upside potential. What we see in the stock story, the business story, is that the Trump administration is clearing red tape, really paving the path for more accelerated nuclear activity for this company and for the industry in general. They're expecting to get a deal for their first U.S. reactor by the end of the year, which really will be a game changer for the business. It'll really juice the EPS outlook as it is. They're looking to start producing earnings, late this decade, early in the next decade. But with a firm deal for U.S. Reactor on the table, that outlook could be ramped forward by several years. The way that the regulatory outlook is going, this company could potentially be putting out its first reactors in the next 2 to 3 years, and also news that could really help invigorate the stock price.
Oh, this is the only nuclear stock on this list of 3 explosive growth stocks, but I want to talk about what sets this one apart from other ones. Why did this one make your list of explosive growth and not a different nuclear company?
Right now, nuclear in general is very hot because of the demand for power, the ability to co-locate these small modular reactors with lots of industries, specifically data centers, which is being driven by AI. There is another nuclear stock also set up for an explosive upside. That's Oklo. They're different companies, though. NuScale is using traditional water-cooled reactors. Oklo is advanced technology using liquid metal-cooled reactors. There's some differences in the timelines to their revenue. So between now and when the explosive upside happens, there's going to be not straight lines, and they won't necessarily track in line with each other. Oklo's not pulling back after results quite the way that NuScale is, but both really have a pretty substantial upside ahead of them because of the demand vector, the deal pipelines, the expectations for revenue and earnings growth to come so quickly once they begin deploying their technology.
Now, with NuScale and with nuclear in general, we've been talking about the explosive upside in this sector since last year, since December at least, talking about this area is going to see a lot of growth. Have we seen that growth this year, and is there still a lot more growth to come?
The price action this year has affirmed what we were seeing in the charts earlier in the year. Right now, with SMR specifically, the charts are very strong. We are in a correction, but it looks like a natural correction within a very bullish market. All the other indicators are convergent with the recent highs. To me, that tells me we're going to at least see the market retest the highs, but with the outlook the way that it is, with the expectation for a firm deal to be on the table, we could easily set a new high, and in that scenario, the market would just continue to rally higher, potentially rising by, $25 to $35 once we break above that high. Analysts are all very positive too. The 11 tracked by MarketBeat have it pegged as a hold, but what the data reveals is that we have increasing coverage, which is bullish. We have more analysts covering the stock, and their price targets are rising and leading the market to that new high I've been talking about.
Right, an interesting first company and a first sector that is overall very bullish right now with a lot of upside potential. If you're looking for other strong nuclear stocks that also have a lot of upside, make sure to check out Thomas's premium report on a list of 7 nuclear stocks to buy in 2025. These 7 companies are all in the nuclear field and all have strong outlook for the future. You can scan the QR code now or click the link to get that report totally for free right now on marketbeat.com. Okay, Thomas, let's get to that second company totally out of the nuclear space.
Right. This is AST Space Mobile. This company is building a network of satellites to deliver mobile services globally. The story this year is that it has begun launching satellites. It's got 6 in orbit right now. It's producing some revenue. Revenue in the last report was weak, but that's really due to the timing of contracts, which a lot of them right now, a lot of the business right now is governmental. But the forecast, the guidance is for revenue to really begin accelerating rapidly the current quarter and the back half as the satellite network is built out. It's affirmed an outlook for a very robust launch schedule. They want to increase the number of satellites in orbit by about 10x over the next 15 months. So, like, by the end of this year, they say they'll have coverage over most of North America. By the end of next year, it'll be fully North America, fully Japan, fully Europe, which is most of the market for mobile carriers. So really, we're looking at hyper growth, triple digit growth, potentially accelerating over the next few quarters. Also, outlook I would say is unplumbed. We don't know really what the full range, the full spectrum of revenue is possible because this network, this technology is useful for governments, for enterprises, for mobile carriers, lots of applications, plenty of tailwinds for this business.
And this name I first heard about a year ago too, and I think the concept has so much potential. It just sounds like something that is going to completely change the whole cellular industry to have that global coverage, to have uninterrupted coverage, even if you're going for a hike and you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So this makes sense, but I'm curious to see, have we seen the price action and other investors excited about this idea enough in the last year? How much growth has it seen? And is there still upside ahead once this actually launches commercially?
Right. I think that there is a tremendous amount of upside ahead because right now, based on the outlooks for revenue and earning, um, the price multiple is only 2x in 2030. That's just, 4 years away. Assuming that the outlooks, the forecasts are cautious, that valuation is much lower. But even in this situation, 2x earnings, compare that to Verizon and AT&T, which are trading about 8 and 16 times earnings. We're looking at triple digit upside, 300 to 400% at the low end, possibly 800% at the high end, and it's just going to take some time for this to unfold.
And time and investment. It costs a lot of money to launch satellites and get this
Right?
system really set up. One other thing I want to mention here is the potential for competition out there. My first thought is Starlink, a similar concept but for internet. Are there other competitors, other companies that have taken this idea and are running with it that could maybe hurt the market share for ASTS?
Um, there are certainly some competitors, but ASTS is well advanced. It is absolutely the leader. It has deals in place with all the major global carriers. Like I said, it's just a matter of time for this network to be up and running. There's no reason not to think that it's going to happen. And regarding Starlink, I wouldn't really put too much faith into that company. It's a great technology, not exactly the same because they're doing internet service and not mobile 5G networks. But also, there's the Musk factor. He's a intelligent guy, very ambitious and aggressive and successful. But there's a lot of reasons why governments might not want to use his companies for their business. So I would consider that to be a headwind for Starlink moving forward.
Interesting discussion on a really huge potential concept. So I'm excited to see where this stock goes from now. It definitely qualifies as that explosive upside company. Let's get to that third name on your list.
Yeah, this is Oracle. Oracle really is an amazing story. This was a legacy company that reinvented itself with the cloud. The move into the cloud was compounded by AI. Um, and what we've seen over the last year or so is really a game-changing move for the company that has elevated from being this kind of ancillary digital service to being really critical to internet and AI infrastructure globally. One of the things I have written down in my notes is that so AI, the cloud, and then hyperscalers times two. So this means Oracle not only has deals with all the major hyperscalers to embed its services into their networks, it is also an emergent hyperscaler itself. It's gaining share within the market. It's seeing demand from industries across verticals, including the other hyperscalers, because the data centers that it's building are among the most advanced and the best suited for the advanced AI workloads. The revenue is outpacing expectations. It's accelerating. Um, the remaining performance obligation, the forward indicator of revenue, is still accelerating, so we think this acceleration is going to continue. Moving to the charts, the chart action is incredibly bullish. What I'm seeing right now is a very strong rally followed by kind of a triangle bull flag pattern. If we get a break to the upside, this stock is going to rocket higher. Um, Analysts are leading to about 325, and the chart action says about 340. So I'm thinking the 300 level is pretty easy, and that we could be approaching 350 maybe by the end of next year, early next year, possibly.
That is some good growth for this company, but this is a different explosive growth play or explosive upside play compared to the first two. You look at nuclear, you look at this new concept for getting cell service. Both of those are new concepts that are just beginning and they're kind of on the start versus Oracle is a long established company, like you said. Is
Right.
there enough growth in what they're doing to really see that explosive kind of upside investors are looking for, especially where it trades today?
Right. I think definitely so. Because as I was saying, Oracle's being elevated from this lower tier tech company where it's important, but it's got competitors and it's not central to the internet. If it disappeared, it would be okay. To this point where Oracle cannot disappear. Oracle is embedded in AI, data center, cloud infrastructure globally. To remove it from that would really be a blow to economics globally. I mean, it would be a big hit.
I know you mentioned it already, but let's really dive into that earnings report that saw Oracle's stock really spike because investors were so excited about what came out in that report.
Well, what we're seeing is some strength across all end markets, but specifically in the data center, specifically in AI related services. The big takeaways from the release is that growth is accelerating sequentially and compared to last year. Margins are improving, and the guidance is also very strong. Part of the guidance and part of the commentary that came out during the earnings call and the post earnings period is some comments from CEO or from Oracle CEO, and she thinks that cloud growth rate could accelerate to 40%, which is really significant compared to the 30% or so pace that it's been growing the last year or so.
That's really good growth, especially again for that really solid long term company. When we're talking about explosive upside, that's what every investor is looking for, right? Some investors do prefer the steady growth with the dividend plays. But when you're looking for explosive upside, a lot of investors are looking towards those new companies, like the first two companies on your list, NewScale and
Right.
ASTS, are very much those growth stocks. But can you find explosive growth? Just to wrap up the conversation on explosive growth stories, can you sometimes find that in existing companies that kind of pivot or make a change? What does it take to really amplify the growth potential of a company that may already exist or may have been around for a long time?
Well, NVIDIA would be a good example of what you're saying, what you're asking. And what it really takes is a new technology, a new innovation that captures the end market's attention in some way, that really amplifies the outlook, something that changes the outlook and gets to where analysts have begun to increase or improve their sentiment ratings and their price targets. Really, it's a total package kind of a deal where you need results and outlook and analysts all to combine together to build an expectation in the market to get investors to start buying the stock and build up some pressure in the price action so that an explosive price pop can occur.
Yeah, NVIDIA, a great example of this, and just good info for investors to consider when you're looking for these major growth stories. You don't necessarily have to look for the newest company out there with the newest idea. It could be an existing company that just has a new idea that really takes off. So, great information and good variety in this list of three explosive growth stories to look at right now. Let us know what you think of these three names. Are there any of them that really stand out to you as great growth story potential? And are there other names that you're looking at right now that you think have explosive upside just after this earnings season and seeing all of the momentum happening with these companies? Let us know your stock picks in the comments too. Thanks again for watching, everyone. As always, happy investing.